Points, courtesy of Sue Cup Manufacturing and SueCup.com, SUKUP.com. Pressure Points, courtesy of 9 to noon at FM 100.3 KFAN. And this is the NFC North version of Pressure Points. It's 11:20. Good morning. I'm going to go outside of the covenant for a second.
Ooh.
Because when we were discussing, it was with Florio, but then you said something that triggered me to think about pressure outside of this covenant and what's coming up this weekend. I believe the game is this weekend. So from a pressure point standpoint.
Pressure points.
I know the answer to this, but I just want to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
Who has more pressure? Who is the point of more pressure this weekend? Kirk Cousins, quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons, going against Mike Zimmer, defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, you talk about a pressure cooker, because there are certain people who may or may not have been part of the covenant who always, mostly, minimally, maybe publicly, but maybe a lot behind the scenes. Really questioned the pressure point handling wherewithal of a certain quarterback who used to play here.
Correct.
I mean, there were P words used all the time.
There were indeed.
We're talking about, of course, pressure points.
Pressure points, yes.
And, well, now the P words, the pressure points. It's funny how the worm turns in this world, isn't it?
It is indeed.
It's funny how the worm turns in this world. And it's funny how what lands in the belly of the beast, when the beast's belly is full and fat and happy, but then all of a sudden it's empty. And then all of a sudden it's craving something it needs, quality defense, something it needs, big third down stops. It's craving a buffet of what it's used to, but all the trays are empty.
Yeah.
There are spoons in there. I mean, there's bread pudding on that spoon. There's macaroni and cheese that's left on that spoon, but there's nothing in this tray. I see the spoon, so I know what to do, but there's nothing when I dig in there to get anything. But you know what? The person antithetical to handling a point of pressure, well, eventually he's up on the schedule. So, dadgummit, we're going to get that one.
Yeah.
Because I absolutely know where all the bones are buried with this young man. All the bones are buried. We won a playoff game with him, but nevertheless, and defense was a big part of the identity of that playoff win, too, at Nolens against the Anti-Vike. Where's the pressure fall mostly in this game? The quarterback or the DC?
Well, I think the QB is going to have something extra for him. I think there's some pressure on Kirk. I think there's another P that creates a lot of pressure when it comes to the pressure points.
Oh, Parsons?
And I'm not talking about your pants and bathroom breaks.
You stop that.
I'm talking about pride. And that's in the underline, if we're saying behind the cover of darkness and what was said publicly versus behind the scenes. When I think of certain individuals and one former coach here in Minnesota in particular, I think about pride. And I think the most pressure is on that individual to wipe that pride away and do the best he can to get his football team back on track. I put the pressure on Mr. Zimmer.
Absolutely.
In that matchup versus Kirk this weekend. It's not close.
I should know this, but I believe the game is in Atlanta. It's at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Let me find it now.
Fast surface. I mean, I'm telling you right now, man. I'm telling you right now. Because as humble and humility laden.
Oh, Arthur Blank on the sideline. The Oculus is open.
Arthur Blank on one sideline and Jerry Jones on the other. I mean, the ego and the puffery that's going to be in that building because of those two. Holy cow! But as humble as Kirk O'Chains is, and as humility based as truly as he is, now he also has a steel trap memory. If there ever was a conversations, where it's like, can you do a better job getting the ball to the tight end? I mean, I'm just sick of seeing so-and-so run wide open, stroking the post. So-and-so called the play.
Oh, yeah.
DiFilippo called it. Stefanski called it. Kubiak called it. The other Kubiak called it. I'm just so sick of okay. Well, Steel Trap will remember that. And if that ever took place, Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts for sure.
5'1", 10 and 2,
yes.
All middle of field. If there ever was it's can you turn your back a little more on the play action? I'm noticing watching these things back that I don't think you're turning your back enough, and so therefore the safeties and the linebackers just aren't quite biting the way we need them to bite to stroke the post and get down the field.
Yep.
I mean, he'll turn his back to every possible defensive player for the Dallas Cowboys. He'll duck down he'll do a Matt Ryan impression. I mean, he'll take Halloween from Thursday and make it Sunday, and he'll do a Matt Ryan, one of the great play action quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. He'll do a Matt Ryan impression. You're going to get Rubes to bite. Trayvon Diggs is all messed up right now, having trouble in games, arguing, yelling at the Hobie Artigues of the world after the game. It just, I mean, like my man for Dallas TV, I don't even know his name. And hopefully some people saw this so they know what I'm talking about. He tweeted something about Trayvon Diggs, like, can you at least try on the play? If it was during that game, I need to know how Trayvon saw it. Because if Trayvon's on his phone at halftime, that's a problem. I just don't like that. And maybe that's how halftimes work. Maybe they get to go in there and be on their phones, maybe they get to go in there and play super special video games. It's you come in to learn about second half adjustments and you get a tutorial on Skyrim. I mean, maybe that's the case. But somehow Trayvon Diggs, and you can find this on social media, he's going to the locker room. He stopped, found the TV guy, found the Ahmad Hicks, the Reggie Wilson, the Don Mitchell, the Hobie Artigues, and just let him have it.
Wow.
Shut your mouth. You don't know what it's like to get out there and play. Stay in your lane. And then my man kept his composure. He was like, I would just like you to answer the question. I would just like you to answer. Well, Trayvon came back and then got into him again and then left it dropping an F-bomb. So it was Mike McCarthy, I believe after the game or the next day, was like, he just has to be better. I mean, elevator music, man. Yeah. You're the one that got the money. You're the one he's talking about. They all came to see you, not him. So you've already won this petty secular shine battle. Just go to the locker room. And so Trayvon's pear-shaped. He's part of that defense. They got a lot of pear-shaped situations on that defense. And if there ever was a time that you don't turn your back well enough on the play action, here comes Matt Ryan. You miss too many tight ends up and down the field. You don't stroke the post enough. Pitts, 5, 180 and 2. Whatever. I don't know. You can't move. Oh, wow. That's it. He can't move. Can't get himself out of trouble.
Oh, scrambles for 20.
I think his career long run is 29 and something like that. I put it on the game calling depth chart so many times. I think it took place in that Arizona game where I blew the Joseph call. And
Speaking of Arizona, remember when he turned the corner on Marcus Golden?
I'm talking the game at Arizona.
The field goal bit.
When he turned the corner on Marcus Golden, well, that involves scrambling.
It does.
That involves the T word, toughness.
Yes.
The T word, toughness.
Toughness.
And a little bit of athletic ability. So, steel trap memory guy, Kirk O'Chains. I mean, I don't know what came up and when it came up, but if it did come up, it might go completely pear-shaped for that defense. Pitts, 5, 125 and 2. Cousins, 2 rushing touchdowns. 2 rushing. Has to bulldog his way for one because he's tough. He's the T word.
He's going to start. He's going to start the game like 15 of 15. Bijan's going to have 6 catches in the first quarter out of the backfield.
Yeah, Cousins won't sleep this week.
Yeah, I wish that screen game would work a lot better, guys. Oh, new town, new city, new outlook. Here we go.
And then up by 15 late. We're just going to go to clowning. I'm going to run in for a third. Hey, remember that year that I slid at Arrowhead when we needed 8 and I slid at 6 and I blew it and then I got yelled at? Watch this. I mean, this game's of the macabre.
Who's their version of Amir Abdullah?
A backup running back?
Yeah.
The Algiers Cat.
The Algiers Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that game at Arrowhead. My goodness, Kirk.
But see, the Falcons defense is playing tough right now.
Yeah.
So the defensive coordinator of the Falcons, whomever it is, well, Raheem Morris is the coach. He's the defensive mind, probably calls the plays. Well, that's a tentacle. Well, that's an ancillary piece here. Why is it an ancillary piece? Well, because everybody always talks about this guy in the AA gap and innovative and invented the whole thing. What about me? What about me? Oh, he said what? He used to call you what? I mean, he used to say what? Oh, wow. I mean, he's going to get all Grady. Grady, come here. Grady Jarrett, my dog. When you do the pregame speech where they all gather around you, I need you to say these 5 things. And just let them have it.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going to show it at the FAN. What's the FAN? The Falcons Entertainment Network. I mean, this game's of the macabre this weekend. This is unbelievable that, when the schedule came out, we looked at it and we're like, oh, wow, this can be a meat grinder here. Well, funny how the worm turns.
It's going to be awesome.
And it pause and pressure points next. You want to do that?
Should we hold the pressure points? We're going to be kind of up against it the rest of the way.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
But I got some coach speak too. I got bits. Yeah. I got audio. I got bits for you. Final 2 segments.
Yeah, let's do that. Final 2 segments, you say. All right, 3-2. You're listening to your Pressure Points leader provided by Sukup and Sukup.com. 9 to noon. Your catching a stray leader on the FAN.
Hey, let me do this as part of a short segment here. Let me hit you with one more.
Pressure Points.
Brought to you by Sukup Manufacturing.
Sukup.
Thank you, Sukup. The Detroit Lions. These guys?
Lions now 1st and goal from the 8. Goff up under center. Turns. Fakes the give to Jameer. Now throws. Khalif. 10-5. Walk it in, young man. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
I mean, was that Lomas? Got him. I mean, it was that easy. They put 52 on a team, and as you mentioned it, I think Goff threw for like 85 yards in the game. But the Detroit Lions, my pressure point, and this isn't going to be the most earth-shattering thing you'll ever hear in your life, but for me with these kiddies, man, play like you've been there, even if you haven't yet. And this team right now, they got Lambeau this weekend, and it looks like I don't know about LaFleur, man. I love LaFleur, coach of the year type stuff with LaFleur and what he's been able to do with Malik Willis. I think if they're smart, they actually sit Love, get him right into the bye, because that's next week for the Pack, and they let Malik go out there and try and beat the kiddies this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But the Lions absolutely need to have the number 1 seed on their minds, PA. And again, I know it's simple and obvious, but we have to acknowledge the Lions may not just be the best team in the NFC. They might be the best team in the NFL right now.
Right.
And the key for the Lions here moving forward, the schedule eases up a bit. They're at Lambeau, as I mentioned. Then they go to Houston, the Diggs, Nix, Collins, IR with the hammy. But then they're hosting the drowning Jags. They're at these Colts with Flacco. They're hosting the Bears, Packers, and Bills right away. They're at the Bears and Niners after that. They could be 12-1, PA, when they host the Bills week 15. They've created 10 turnovers in the last 3 weeks on defense. They're continuing to overcome, now technically just through a couple of games, but overcoming that loss of Aiden Hutchinson. Jahmyr Gibbs is, you want to talk about being on one like Matthew Stafford was against the Vikings last Thursday night? Jahmyr Gibbs is freaking on one right now. And the quarterback absolutely is an MVP candidate. So it's a go for it situation right now. And they're one of the best built teams in the NFL for a team that absolutely can contend for a title now.
Yeah.
But the financial flexibility, the youth and the mix of talent, the Brian Branch revelation, all of that's going on in Detroit right now is so good. So Kitties fans, you're super excited. You should be. Your team's a one-loss operation. But really right now, the only thing I'm asking, if I'm a Kitties fan of Dan Campbell and company, is that's the focus, is you're hunting for that number one seed. You're in the driver's seat to do so. But this is an opportunity that Lions fans and the Lions franchise have not had in freaking decades. And they are right there in the catbird seat. Play like you've been there, even if you haven't yet. Again, they have a chance to be 12-1 hosting the Bills week 15. It's insane what they're doing right now, and it's so good.
And believe it or not, they lost a home game to Baker.
Yeah, that's weird.
I mean, and he's having a wonderful year. The Bucs sustaining a lot of injuries, so that may be their dagger. But they lost at home to the Buccaneers. Almost lost to, or did they? See, like when I left that game, like the Buccaneers game 1, 2023. Okay, Vikings lose a low-scoring game. Can't find Mike Evans at the wrong time.
Right.
All throughout the game. And I left that game being like, there was never a second in that game I thought the Vikings were losing that game to the Buccaneers. Never. I mean, like out of the gate, didn't we get inside the 20 or the 10 and fumble? Like Madison fumbled or something?
Yeah, it was like punt first possession and then turn it over. Yeah.
Okay, so it was an inauspicious beginning. But still, I never thought we were losing that game. Like in the Lions game, it's for some reason, I just couldn't get over the hump thinking, yeah, we got it. Yeah, we got them.
Right.
I mean, because, by the way, you needed the Ivan Pace Jr. Scoop and score like you needed to breathe. Or they might have scored again, and then all of a sudden it's a completely different story.
But you do take the lead on that.
Yeah, you do. There's no doubt, which means you had to be close.
But then you had to stop them again.
Right. It's there. I mean, I just have a high level of respect for the Lions, and I have for the last 3 years. And Brad Holmes, their general manager, whether it's making certain trades on which they absolutely are winning, or it's finding the branches and so on from the draft. And you just can't shortchange. I said this last week, or I said this up to the Lions game. You can't shortchange nuance like this because people may think it's stupid and it's trite and it's super special, precious. It doesn't really matter. I'm telling you in that game it does, and here's what it is. Aleem McNeil, one of the better defensive tackles in the NFL. All right, like fourth-year NC State, like a third-round pick. They hit on Aleem McNeil. Well, big man wants money. Big man and his agent got a little loud at one point about some money. I mean, you got this over here with Penei Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and we're paying people. What about me? What about Aleem? What about me? Well, they couldn't come together on whatever they were working on. This was a very low-key negotiation. Nobody's getting loud about it or anything. Hutchinson goes down. They give McNeil exactly what he wants within 24 hours. That just right there is, it's not like no hard feelings here. It's not like, we were stiff arming you and never were going to help you out here, brother. We love you. But we want to do it now. And you know what? We want to credit you because we know you want to get paid. We know you are underpaid, and in the first 5 games of the year, whatever, I mean, you're beating everybody's butt.
Right.
So you're playing through a situation that is not conducive to you. Well, this Hutchinson injury, it's not conducive to us or anybody. We're paying you right now, and we're paying you exactly what you want. People who operate that way have so much self-awareness. It's so self-aware to recognize, let's not wait, let's not linger, let's boom. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and make big man happy. We need so there's some opportunists to it, but nevertheless, NFL doesn't look at it like that way either.
Yeah, but that's how seasons go. I mean, you could go back and nitpick. 2017, Vikes go on that 8-win streak as part of the 13-win season. we not off top of head, but we can go back and we can find nuance in those games of things that happened in the right way, right? Yeah. And we had lost Alvin to an ACL that year, so we had to overcome highlight rookie, and we're trying to figure out how to win with Latavius and Jet McKinnon. You can go back to it, but nuance, whether it's situations like that, the 3rd and 4 play. That the Vikings don't close on. I mean, you're going to go back. You could go back through that season, but that's how teams make runs. That's the margin of parity in this league in a lot of big ways. You can go to the Chiefs season a year ago. I bet you could do the same thing. Finding nuance where the good teams just find their way onto the right side of those coin flip situations. They found it with Aleem. They found it at U.S. Bank Stadium a week and change ago.
No doubt.
They're on a heater right now, and I don't see them stopping anytime soon.
A lot of cheap people in the world, and a lot of people who are inherently cheap, and they can't push through it at any time, and it eats at them. Well, organizations are like that too.
They can be, yeah.
You see, so I ain't saying the Ford family's cheap. It's not. But the wherewithal and self-awareness of the timeliness after this guy goes down, let's make this guy happy. Let's make somebody happy. Everybody's sad. Let's make somebody happy. I just think it's awesome how they're operating, and they're going to be an incredibly tough beat in the old NFC.
I can't wait until tomorrow.
We can't wait until tomorrow for a Thursday football feast. We expect Chris Finch, coach of the Timberwolves, to join tomorrow. Likewise for Nacho Lieber. Alan Roach, the Vox of all Voxes, ever to Vox, he joins tomorrow. Then Friday football feast, PA in charge, and others et al. At Buffalo Wild Wings Blaine. So join us for that. Thank you very much for listening to 9 to Noon. Here comes the Con with a wrap on the show.
Time for 2 more.
There are many, many positives I can get out of this game.
The game is over.
Kirk putting Zimmer in the pressure cooker like me trying to determine the rules of the game snooker. I mean, why are there all those red ones, man? I mean, you can play. I guess I'll go hit the can. By the way, speaking of the restroom, y'all, in public spaces, close the door to the stall. It's about business, not a peekaboo hobby. But this morning I walked in, saw way too much of Robbie. Now, tomorrow, hope we hear from Finch. Ant's first quarter had me like, this win is a cinch. Reading stat lines, turnovers, only 20? Money left on the table last night. There was plenty. Nice night in Pittsburgh for Flurry. 2 decades in the league, feels like they leave in a hurry. Wild were jealous of the Howl last season, so they're thinking about watching us. Hey, here's a reason.
Rosenhaus out here catching strays.
Close the stall.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.